Hey everybody, you're watching Cole the Corn Star. Good morning everybody, welcome to the farm. We have a really busy day today with a lot going on. For the majority of today's work, we are going to be focusing our efforts on trying to get the underground movie theater over at the farm waterproofed, and it is frozen outside, so it's not going to be an easy task. Justin, Roman, and I are going to be working in the underground movie theater, and while we are doing that, Cooper and Zach are going to be here in the main heated shop working on equipment. The main equipment repairing today is going to revolve around this Case 870 Ripper. This last fall, we rented this Challenger 1050 and this Case 870 Ripper from a neighbor, and part of our rental agreement with the neighbor is when we got done with it, Zach and Cooper would do a full service and get everything 100% ready for him, so that way next year he can just pull it out and start using it on his fields, and then he would knock some off of the rental price for us. So they're gonna try to get this machine wrapped up today, and then we should have a whole lot more room in our shop getting this out of here. Zach, what needs to be done to the Ripper?
Got a couple little things done yesterday. We got this pin up here that may not be very fun to get out because it's got some spring tension, so we'll have to figure out how to get rid of some of that first. And then really, I guess the biggest thing is these leveler wheels back here. We got the one mount's broke, and then these three springs were actually broke when we got it, but he's got the parts to fix the spring tension on those. A couple pins, a couple U-bolts, and should be it this year.
And then I guess apparently the red Volvo may need a new radiator, so depending how far Zach and Cooper get on the Ripper, they may also be tearing into this radiator. Zach and Cooper are super fast, so honestly it wouldn't surprise me if they get that done in like 3 hours. Hey, what are you doing down here?
Looking for some hydraulic fluid. You got some?
I think I got some in the back of my truck, actually, in a funnel.
All right. We got the telly out and got it over there and raised the boom up, and it won't go back down.
We'll go back down?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta turn it off, turn it back on.
It's pretty empty.
Looks like I need to get it kicked into gear. Justin and Roman are gonna have everything done by the time I get over there, but before I can go, I need to pay a couple bills. Bill number one, the $1 million bin site lawsuit attorney. I have my monthly bill due with him, so we're gonna get him paid. And then bill number two, our form rental for the concrete forms for the underground movie theater just came in, so we're also gonna get some money sent off to Whitecap. Am I the only one who gets a bill on something and says, oh, I'll pay that tonight, and then all of a sudden tonight comes and I'll do it tomorrow, and then before you know it, a week has gone by? Well, in order to get around that, I have just made myself start to pay my bills right away in the morning, and then they are done. Our bills are now paid, and I also ordered a couple items here. So this is the foundation sealant that we are going to be using for the exterior of the foundation walls in the underground movie theater to waterproof them. I will be discussing that here in a little bit. And then while I was ordering this, I also ordered our dimple board that will be going on top of that. This is a little embarrassing to say, but I'm just gonna say it because it is the truth. I have never done this before. I've never waterproofed a basement wall, and there's a lot that I don't know. So it took me 3 hours to get all of that stuff ordered, even though it's just a couple things, because I was doing a lot of research and trying to figure out what goes with what can we use, what's the best practices, do we have to keep things at certain temperatures, what brushes do we use to put it on, all of that stuff I have to figure out from ground zero. So we spent the 3 hours to do it, we got it done. I'm gonna run into the house quick, grab a little lunch, and then we just got the snow this morning, so Justin and Roman are probably having an absolute blast right now, but we'll find out here after lunch. Ezekiel, what are you doing, dude? What are we doing? Hi. Oh, where's your brother hiding at? Oh boy, what do we got all the chairs on the floor for here in the kitchen? Was somebody crawling up on the table? You got some drool. Oh, you just drooled on the floor, Ezekiel. What are you doing? You're like a dog. You're like a dog. Oh, you're just drooling because you're hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry too. Edward, are you doing your office work?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh boy.
That's a letter, but
Oh, and you're painting? Wow. For lunch today, we have egg bake. I have absolutely no idea what's in it. I just know that it's good.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cornstar Manor. Roman, are you having fun?
Yeah. The weather is beautiful. Snow is a little bit in the way.
Oh, hey, Justin. So here is the plan of attack for today. All of the stuff that I just ordered is going to go on the exterior of this concrete foundation wall, and it's going to prevent water from being able to pass through the wall into the underground movie theater. So we are going to be waterproofing the outside of the wall. Before we can apply that stuff, well, number one, it needs to come here, but then number two, we need to make a tarp system kind of like what we had over the top, but over the sides, because we need to have this area at 50 degrees or higher in order for our waterproofing material to actually stick to the side of the wall. Now, we've had this covering system over the top of the underground movie theater for the past 3 weeks, and the wind has pretty much destroyed all of it, so we're pulling it all apart, and then we are just going to start from ground zero. If it wasn't frozen, we wouldn't be running into all these tarping problems and all the extra work that entails, but it is frozen out because we're trying to do this in the middle of January, so it is what makes this challenge difficult. So here we go, step number one of our frozen waterproofing adventure. Let's get rid of our old tarp. Oh, nothing like a little bit of walking the plank with snow on your feet. Just gotta be careful not to slip. And not to kick one of those and accidentally trip and fall, because they're hiding all over on top of this wall. Oh!
Do you need a fire department?
Well, I got out here and the tarp was up, so it didn't look like you were half the ground. And then when I flipped it, it all went down. Now I'm really high up. Justin, help!
Nope, can't. Too high.
Yeah, we don't have tie-offs.
You know, you're right, I'm not tied off.
No. And no one can get there without tie-offs.
All right, well, the only way to get down is just to keep going. The key to being in the predicament that I'm in right now is to stay calm. I'm actually not super uncomfortable right now, because I know if I slip, I still have the opportunity to grab the wall, but I'm also not the most comfortable, so I'm being very careful. It's not bad when I have my feet under me or when I have my knees under me. It's when I transition, like right here, that it's super sketchy. Oh, like that. The key is just to stay calm, deep breaths, and relax. Because I feel like if you're not scared, you won't fall. Because if I was doing this on the ground, I wouldn't be scared at all, and I can do it 1,000 times and never make a mistake once. So, we're just acting like we're 6 inches off the ground. Our last transition. There we go. Now we just got the walk back. Nice big breaths. Not a good time for my eyes to be watering up. The longer I walk here, the more nervous I get. All right, whew, we made it. Good job, good job. There we have it. Just take a listen. It is quiet. We have not heard that noise for a couple weeks because that tarp has just been flapping around in the wind. But now that we have it off, we need to prepare the bottom of the wall for it to be able to be waterproofed. Preparation of the bottom of the wall is going to consist of a few different things. Number one, we need to have a clean wall. Now this is a brand new pour, so we don't really have much to worry about. In the far back corner, there is a couple spots that a little bit of mud got on the wall, so we need to go in there and clean that off. But once we have the wall clean, then we need to look down below to the footing. We need to get the footing completely exposed all the way out to the edge, and then we need to go to the joint of where the wall meets the footing. That's called the cold joint because these were two separate pours, and we need to make sure that that is clean all the way into this corner. We had some areas where concrete spilled out, so we need to go and break that off, so that way we get it looking basically exactly like what we have right here. Once we have our footing and our cold joint all cleaned up, then we are going to pick up those 2x4s and mount them to the wall. When we mount our 2x4s to the wall, we are actually going to be putting them just above this 8-foot line on the wall, but since I'm not that tall, I'm just gonna be doing my example down here. But we're just gonna take Tapcon concrete screws and mount these boards up here all the way around, and then we will take boards off the top of these and run them over to the dirt. So we're just gonna have an area that's about 8 feet high. Then we're gonna take the tarp that we just took off over the top of the underground movie theater, and we're gonna mount that right here. And then we will have corridors that will run completely around the lower 8 feet of the underground movie theater that will have an 8-foot ceiling, and we'll get heaters running in those spaces, so that way we can get this area above 50 degrees. We can get all the dirt thawed out, we can get our concrete thawed out, and then once we do that, we will be ready to actually come in and start applying the waterproofing products. Justin's gonna get started on this side. We have a 2x4 on the bottom where we had our concrete form sitting on. That needs to come off so we can get our cold joint exposed. And then if anything went under that 2x4, like right here in this gap, then we'll have to chip that cream off. And then while Justin is doing that, Roman and I are going to be working around the corner. This is by far our dirtiest side of the foundation wall because our dirt edge just sloughed off and it left us with a few inches of dirt on the bottom. So we're gonna try to get as much off as we can that's loose. Some of it is frozen, so we may have to get our enclosure in here, get a heater in here, and get it thawed out a little bit before we're able to get all of it. But we are going to try to get as much done as we can before we have to get the heater involved.
Oh gosh, tearing up. Me and Zach got kicked out of the basement and we got demoted to the shop. It's so hard being back in here in the heat. All week, what's today, Wednesday? I miss Justin and Roman. Be in the basement, cold. It sucks in here. Gotta work on stuff again. Oh gosh. JK, glad to be back. Thank gosh, we're out of there. Back to finally in our environment that we belong. And this week's project was to get some more room in the shop since we haven't worked in here in a month and a half. Yeah, since the beginning of December. So first project was, Zach watched the Challenger, the 1050. We got this washed up. Rightfully so for the owner. Cleaned the cab yesterday, cleaned the windows. Just washed the Ripper this morning, and we went through it yesterday, wrote down some parts that needed, greased all the disc gangs, all the joints, and now we are working on the back levelers. These are what level out the Ripper tracks. These actually do a lot. You wouldn't think they would do much, but they do. A lot of these, the bushings up here are bad. I don't know if you can see that. A lot of movement. So we just took all the springs off, got those zip tied up. We're going to pull these bolts out, drop this steel down, and then there's 3 plastic bushings inside that we'll pound out, put new in. We'll put all these back on, and this really should be our last big task. We got one more thing to do up front here. There's a pin for the hydraulic cylinder to adjust these this whole disc part here is adjustable up and down, so it depends how much dirt you want to turn. You can either raise it up all the way so it's not doing anything, or you can bury them. You can kind of see how far they go on the ground. Up here, there's a big pin right there. I don't know if you can see that, it's broke. So we got that pin coming, isn't here yet. That'll be here Friday. We'll get that out, put the new in, get that done. Really shouldn't be too much left to to do to this thing. So at least there wasn't a lot, but there's a couple small things. Nothing like last year. Last year we pimped this thing out, put all new blades on it, new back leveler blades. Some other stuff. I can't remember this so long ago. But we just pulled the Challenger in. It was outside for a little while. Pulled that back in tomorrow or Friday, hopefully. Pete will be coming out, put all the ag leader stuff in this, so we'll have auto steer. But yesterday, so we were looking this thing over, we found a good problem with this thing. You got two big pins. There's one pin here and one pin here that the whole tractor rotates on. Well, this bottom pin, you won't be able to see it right now, but it's way in there. That pin is broken half, so this plate's actually supposed to be sitting down another 1/2 inch. And the reason it's not is because it is snapped in half. So that means is we have to split this tractor. Not very exciting. We wouldn't have to split it, but we don't know if this main bushing in here is bad. And if it is, we have to split the tractors. So it won't be very hard, just a little more time consuming, as we got to jack up the front and the back. So the front will stay stationary. And then the back, we have a jack that you can jack up, and then it'll, it's on a skid, so it'll slide. So we'll have to slide it back about 1 foot to get in there. So we'll have to take the drive shaft off, unhook some of these hoses. All these hoses go back to the very back where all the Pioneer couplers are. That whole block is just bolted down with 3 bolts, so we're actually just gonna take 3 bolts out and just push it forward 1 foot, just so we don't have to make a big mess of the oil and lose oil. So that's gonna be next week's project. We're gonna get this ripper done. Well, we won't get it done this week because we won't have all the parts. Hopefully the parts come in Friday, we might, but we're gonna knock this out. Then I got another project over here we gotta get done. This tractor arm, you guys remember like 4 years ago? Tore this thing down, put a new clutch in it. But it got all painted. And so I gotta put it all back together. So that'll be next after this. Get that done, get that out of here. Then this will be our next big project. All right, so we got our first 6 off. Let's go ahead and show you what's going on here. So clearly this has been out for a really long time. That is not savable. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that one. Pins look to be in decent condition. They're a little wore, but as usual, this right here is $60. So we're gonna try and save these because that is literally highway robbery. Here's another one. This one's got a lot of play in it. Won't come out, but you guys can see clearly that we have some movement. We're gonna go ahead and fold this and do the other 4. Just gotta loosen these 2 big nuts here so the spring's loose. Take these 2 bolts out, this whole deal pops out. Need the bar, hammer. Oh, I don't got a hammer. All right, you guys see the process here. We're gonna get these last 4 off and we'll touch base when we're done.
We have the assembly line going as we're clearing the path for Justin. Justin is coming behind us, taking the board out. Cole is in the head of the train.
I think what we should be doing is I throw it over my shoulder and it lands right here, and Roman has his shovel and he catches it, and then he throws it over his shoulder just like that, and then Justin would catch it and then he would throw it in the pile.
I think it's a good idea. I was thinking what we're missing here, and I think that's what exactly what we were missing.
We're missing complexity, that's what it is.
And just like that, the board is popped out of the groove. And we're actually gonna keep that board because we're gonna put it on the wall after I help Justin. Surprisingly, this niche that we dug out is now full, and we still have a little bit more fill to throw in there. So I guess there is no other way but take an excavator and empty it again, so we have empty niche and we can have more room to clean this. Let's go get the excavator.
Too dark to see down below, so before I go home for the night and we resume again in the morning, we have this dirt pile that's sitting here from where we're digging out down below. I don't want this to freeze in the middle of the driveway, so I'm gonna put the bucket on and I'm gonna get this out of here. And then we also have a big rock pile that's sitting in the middle of the driveway, and we have to drive around it, and one of these days they are going to come get all of the concrete forms, and so we're gonna have to do a bunch of jockeying around in here to get all these on, and there's gonna be a semi in here with a trailer, and I have a feeling this pile is going to be in the way, so I'm going to try to move this over by the walk-in door of that building, so then we'll actually have our driveway back. It's now about 16 hours later. The driveway behind me looks incredible. We have all sorts of room. So here we go. Now that we can see again, back to digging.
Trying to get this pin out. We got to get pressure off this cylinder so we can get this out of the way, so we can get pressure off this. So we're taking all these stops out here, and we're gonna loosen the line, let this do its thing, just decompress, get all the oil out of it, and then we'll be able to take that pin out. All right, I got the oil drain. Our cylinder is now loose, so we should be able to push that pin out now. We're gonna just flip this thing up, then we can get down to that pin. end was all boogered up and we got it pounded through. We cut this other one in half and got her out. Okay, next thing we're doing, next up, right here, exhaust. Right here. Plugs up on the side of the motor here, right off your manifold. It'll just drop straight down and then it just runs straight back and then it hangs off the back axle. But we gotta put a new can on it because this one is no good. We got a new one back there. We gotta get this exhaust clamp off. These are gonna be junk, so I'm just gonna cut these off, get that off. And then our other exhaust does not have this hanger, so I'm gonna try and cut this hanger off and reuse this. So, first things first, we're gonna cut this bolt off, see if we can get this thing spread apart and get it off the actual exhaust that we're saving and get rid of the can.
What we are working on right now is 100% without a doubt a mistake on my end that we are fixing, because when the excavator was here digging our original hole, I did not have him dig far enough back. So once we ended up getting a little sloughing on the side hill, it ended up covering our work, which we are now undoing, and we are just about done. This job, I don't really know if it's more difficult now that it's frozen or when it's all muddy. It's difficult either way. Honestly, I'm kind of preferring this frozen way because at least it's dry and clean. It's just everything turns into rocks. These are just all frozen together. But over here, this was our worst area. We're like 2 feet covered in soil, and we're actually gonna stop right there because right here on this wall where we have this little hairline crack, this is where we have a wall on the other side where our floor ends up jumping up. So floor height is about where my head is right now. So everything down here, it doesn't need to be super waterproofed. We don't have any drainage footer over here, anything for stuff to run off into. So we're just going to go right above our dirt line. And then this is also going to be under cover of house. There's actually going to be part of the house right above our heads right now. So this is not going to be subject to water at all. So we got to right here, which is the end of where our tile is. You see our tile sticking through right there, or the geotextile fabric. So I'm gonna get this board cleaned up a little bit, see if I can expose the screw holes. We'll get this popped off. And then Roman's working on the other side right now, getting, well, there's not nearly as much dirt over there, but he's chipping away basically on this exact same thing, but on the other side. Just before dark, we got it out. Now this piece actually went pretty good until it broke. And with the other piece, we didn't quite have to break it up into 1,000 pieces, but we did have to break it up into a bunch. Whoa, I guess that's how you know it's cold outside. I was really hoping that we were going to be able to get our boards mounted to the 8-foot point on the side of the concrete wall, so that way we could actually start building a little roof over the top and then get our tarp over that, so that way we could kind of get things ready for the heated enclosure. But our frozen dirt just took longer than we anticipated. So now I have some tax work that I need to get prepared, so that way I can bring it to the tax guy. And then I also have beginning of the year farm projections that I need to get together, so that way I can have a meeting with the banker. So I'm gonna be getting that stuff addressed. And then Roman is going to an arm wrestling competition. So the last time he pulled was the big event in the United States where they were determining the #1 guy in the 154-pound weight class. Roman got second. He had some absolute wars with both his right and left hand. They're really long matches for that first place position. Roman did suffer a little bit of an elbow injury or something up inside of here in his left-handed match. But his right hand is still good, so he is going to be competing in, I believe, the 176-pound class in the Illinois State Champion competition. He's not cutting down for this one. So you guys are gonna go arm wrestle and I'm gonna be in the office.
Morning, long time no see. It's been a week since our baby was born, so my wife let me go and participate and be referee of Illinois State Championship. So we're getting ready here and setting everything up. There's a lot of people that we're expecting to come, anywhere around 350 participants today. Hopefully it's going to be a good day. I'll be reffing most of the day, and also I already signed up for the right hand. I'm still thinking maybe I'll go up a class, I don't know, but feeling all right. I wouldn't say I feel super strong or anything. My left is still recovering from the injury, so I shouldn't touch that. So we'll see how today goes. A little walk around. It's crazy to think, but it's been a year since I've been here. The time flew by. It's the same location. I think you can see and agree with me that it is a great place. It's a winery out in the country with some food here and lots of room so spectators can enjoy instead of being crowded. And we're gonna have 4 tables due to amount of participants, and it's gonna be running non-stop for about 6 to 8 hours. Here's Pat. He's one of the organizers. How long you have been in the sport, Pat?
Almost 40 years.
40 years?
Yeah, right.
How the arm wrestling changed since then?
Weaker?
Arm wrestling changed.
Oh, it's
yeah.
bigger.
Bigger?
Time. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. A lot more complicated, too, you know, all the different techniques and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, thank you for putting this together.
Absolutely.
I like the arm wrestling about just meeting and seeing the new family members, the old family members, and just enjoying the time. Share with you some moments of the future arm wrestling. That's how children's arm wrestling looks like. It's been several hours since we started, and when it gets started, it gets really loud. So I found a little quiet corner. I've been reffing for these 4 hours since the start, and I'm already tired. I'm trying to regain a little bit of strength and get warmed up before my weight class starts. And I'm really hoping I can pull it off, because we need some little extra cash in our family, and I don't like to lose. Go! Arm wrestling performance was very good. I definitely was coming in hoping I can take the first place, but was not expecting that. So I went undefeated in 176 pounds class, which was 10 pounds. I was 10 pounds under that limit, and on top of that, one of the guys, he said January 1st he was almost 200 pounds. And also I did not film that part, but that's something I'm really proud of myself, that this time I did what the Lord asked me to do. During national anthem there at the event, when everyone was standing facing the American flag, during the song I was prompted by God to say a prayer before the event starting, and it was very uncomfortable. Some of you probably know the feeling when Lord tells you like, hey, you need to do this, and you're wrestling with that thought, and sometimes you just walk away thinking that I'm too busy, I shouldn't be doing this, or I don't want to do this, but then later on you regret that you didn't do that. So with that in mind, I said to myself and the Lord, okay, I'll do that. So I asked the host, the organizer of the event, if I could pray for everyone, and he was excited about that, and I did, in front of I think 250 people, which was great testimony, and I think that was the highlight of this whole thing.
One of these days, I'm going to be able to get to an arm wrestling tournament myself, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not nearly as good as Roman. Like, I can literally use both hands and pull against Roman, and he can still beat me. And it's not like I'm exactly weak, but Roman's just super, super strong. But in the competition that I go to, I will be looking for my first amateur win. Unfortunately, right now, I am in the middle of really busy stuff, and I haven't really had the ability to get away, so I've not got to one yet. But it's on the list of something that I'm looking forward to do. I've been training a little bit, so sometime soon. I got the taxes mostly done. I basically just need to kind of double check everything to make sure that I accounted for all of this stuff. It's really easy to overlook something because, like, when you make a payment on something, you don't think about the interest that is inside of that payment because you just see the whole lump payment. Like when you have a car payment, you just pay the $500 or whatever it is, but you don't realize that 85 of those $500 was interest, and that interest can be deducted. So I go through and I find all the stuff like that, and then just make sure that everything is accounted for, because we don't want to leave anything on the table. I know for myself, I can definitely become a much better businessman by doing a better job with my bookkeeping and keeping up to date on that. So that way we can be proactive when it comes to our tax planning and actually have decisions made a couple months ahead of time versus waiting until the last month of the year or the last 2 weeks of the year or the last day of the year to actually make a decision, because I'm probably not making as good of decisions as I could be at the end of the year versus if I would make them earlier in the year where I had more time to think about it or I had more time to assess different options. It looks like Cooper and Zach got a lot done. I'm honestly not sure of everything that they are doing. I like walking through their job sites though at the end of the day, because they do a really good job and they get a lot done, and they keep everything nice and clean and organized as they're working on it. So then it's a clean workflow for them. But it looks like they still got the ripper tore apart, so I'm assuming they're probably waiting for parts on this. It looks like they got tore into this tractor a little bit, and I don't think they did anything on the red Volvo. And then when it comes to the big four-wheel drive tractor, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure GPS got put in it today, or at least they got started. Pete Youngblood with Youngblood Ag, or maybe it was Garrett with Youngblood Ag. He came out and looks like they're doing something in here. I honestly haven't climbed up inside to see. Oh yeah, we got an ag leader monitor in here. Look at that. We will have some auto steer for tillage is what this 8-inch monitor is set up on. When we put the 12-inch one in here, the InCommand 1200, that will be set up for the tile plow, but we don't have a tile plow yet. But Cooper and I did do a little bit of tile plow discussing earlier today on kind of what we're wanting to do and the whole game plan behind that. So that's kind of exciting. They did also find something with this tractor. I believe there's a big pin. I don't know if it's that one or that one down below, but one of them is broken. So that means tractor is going to have to be split apart to be able to get whichever one of those pins is broken out. So that'll be an interesting task for Zach and Cooper. I have 100% confidence in them that they'll be able to get it figured out no problem. It's just really cool watching Zach and Cooper do their thing because it doesn't seem like it really matters what's broken. They just dive in there and they figure out how to fix it. I do have a little bit of work I still need to get done when it comes to the cash flow planning for the bank meeting that I have, but it's starting to get late at night. I have a really bad habit of not getting enough sleep, and that's something I'm trying to work on. So I'm just gonna go to sleep and I'll tackle it in the morning. So with that being said, this is all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.